Hey y'all, it's Megan. Welcome back to the channel. Glad y'all are here today. Come spend some time with us today. We're gonna just walk around and look at our gardens. We had a pretty bad storm a night or two ago and we're just checking on everything. But right now, Andy's putting in another tree.
Another tree's what we need, ain't it?
Yep.
Last night we happened to be at Lowe's and they had one of these big persimmon trees. I think it's a Fuya persimmon. Now we have plenty of the native persimmons around here, but we wanted, well, I in particularly wanted one of these type of persimmons, and because I mean they make persimmons like that big, so I'm kind of excited to see what that thing brings for us.
So the other night we had a really bad thunderstorm and actually it hailed here. And that's not something we see a lot. I know some of y'all probably used to stuff like that. But we had some pea-sized hail and messed up my mullein plant pretty good, but I think everything else fared all right.
We had like 9/10 of rain in less than 20 minutes. It was insane. I guess we'll start over here to raised beds. Our cabbage and broccoli are looking pretty good. We got little bitty heads of broccoli way down in there. Probably can't even see it. But I was surprised that we didn't have no worse damage to them than we did, because it was insane. That one right there got eat up pretty bad early on. And I think a lot of these rips you see right there, I believe that was hail damage. Which on these older leaves, it ain't gonna hurt nothing no ways. And then these are potatoes. What were these? Yukon Golds? And then these were the red New Orleans. I am noticing, I just now seen this. I hadn't seen this. We've got potato bugs on these. Look at that.
Yep, there they are.
We're gonna do away with those. That's the young potato bugs there. So they're just getting started on them. I'll have to come out here and, yeah, they're all over them. We're gonna have to come out here and do something about that. I'm kind of glad we looked this morning. I didn't realize we had any bugs getting on them yet. Goodness gracious.
And they'll eat them up in a hurry.
Yes, they will. You'll come out here one day and you won't have nothing left.
Just be stems. It's happened to us.
No, I don't see any bugs on these, and I didn't see any on those. It's just the red potatoes.
These are blooming.
Some of them out there on the far end are blooming.
Aren't they pretty?
Mm-hmm. Look. Well, we'll come on over just a little ways. Today's the first day we've actually been able to walk out into the garden since that storm, because it just turned everything super muddy. All of this across here looked like a river flowing. It was, I'm telling you, I haven't seen rain like that in a very, very long time. But our carrots finally starting to grow. They have took forever to grow. I've never seen carrots grow this slow, but they're finally starting to take hold. So I'm hoping they actually turn out and make something. This was all just an experiment anyways. I wasn't sure how well they do.
You can really see the rain, how well it uncovered some of these rocks.
Yeah, they shine now, don't they?
Yeah.
Then our corn over here, you can see this top row, how much better it looks than the other 3 rows. Well, y'all, I made a mistake when I was planting this. I did not have that Hoss planter set to the right depth, and I was putting I didn't even check it. I don't know what I was thinking and why I didn't do it, because I knew better. But the seed was only about this deep in the ground, and it took these 3 rows right here forever to come up. The seed was up in the drier surface, you know, it wasn't down deeper where the moisture actually was. And anyways, by then it was too late. So I'm just kind of seeing how well it's going to hold on here. I don't have the best stand, but we do have something growing, so we're going to let it do its thing. So then on our row of October beans, that hail really beat them up the other day. You see on these bigger leaves here, looks kind of like you shot them with a shotgun, which shouldn't really hurt them, just kind of makes them look bad. I mean, you can even see where it beat the dirt up on them. I mean, it was crazy. But we got a lot that didn't come up. I don't know if the planter missed it, or if they were just so shallow in the ground they just didn't never germinate. So I was out here yesterday morning, and I'll come across the edge here and stuck some more seeds in the ground, and they will be behind for sure, but At least it'll fill in the gaps.
And then these grapevines, which are the older ones, they're plumb full of baby grapes.
Big grape.
I mean, just full. Everywhere you look, there's clusters.
Yay, giant grapes over here.
So, hoping we'll have us a good grape harvest this year. I like to make grape jelly.
Well, we come on over to the other side of the fence, and it ain't been that long that most of y'all seen this side of the garden. We've really been racking up on the strawberries lately. But these that I planted out here just haven't been doing. All of our berries have been deformed. I mean, they're still good, but they've all been deformed. And these berries out here just ain't really been doing it. And I think it's because they got frostbite. Right there's a nice one. Look at that.
Oh, that is a good one.
That's probably one of the prettiest ones we've picked from out here. Still got a bug hole in it though. If you don't pick these things, like right before they ripen, the bugs will get on them before you do.
There's a big one right there at your hand.
Right there's one. Look at that.
Oh, that's a good one. Maybe it just had to work the kinks out.
They still somewhat deformed though. See how the ends of them are?
Yeah.
But they sure are pretty. But the ones we got down there close to the pig lot are way outperforming these right here. I'll leave them two for just, now that one's ready. All right. Now these cabbage on this side, in my opinion, actually look better than the ones in the other beds.
And these were planted at the same time.
Well, this compost that's in this bed is what we made. That compost over there is store-bought. And I have added some, I haven't put any granular fertilizer by any of this stuff, but I have fertilized it with a liquid 20-20-20 a couple of times. So other than that, they've not really had much added to them.
And Mr. Vole hasn't been back after our peas.
No, but
Thank goodness.
The darn things won't. I might have to come back out here and put something up to hold them up towards that fence so they'll start climbing it. When we come on down this bed to our walking onions, y'all see all them little spots right there? Best I can figure, the hail done that too.
Yeah, because they ain't been looking like that.
They hadn't looked like that at all. And all the brokenness that you see in there, the hail done all that. This is the first dealings we've had in anything walking onions though. And these are the craziest looking things I've ever seen. And so I'm assuming that each one of them little bubblets there is going to turn into another onion, and that's why it's falling over to the ground. I guess that's why they get their name, walking onions.
Yeah, this year, we're just letting them kind of multiply, if they will. And then next year, or either, I don't know how they'll work in the fall, maybe I might could harvest them. I don't know. We really don't know.
So I seen a reel on Facebook the other day, and the lady was saying that if you want to harvest them, you keep these tops cut out of them. You don't let them reproduce. If you want them to reproduce, you don't harvest them. So I don't know. Like, we've never dealt with them. So anybody of y'all, if you have dealt with them, tell us what y'all do.
But I know one thing. They seem to like it in this spot we decided to put them.
Yeah, they looked great until that hailstorm came.
Yep. And then I planted me some basil and some parsley right here. The herbs seem to really like it here. They don't necessarily cook in this spot right here. It's just cool, like it's partial shade, I guess you'd call this.
And from what we found, it seems to us that herbs can tolerate more shade than most vegetables can. When you get in this corner of our garden right here, this is probably the shadiest spot out of the whole thing. And they've loved it here.
Yeah. There's my oregano. And all this, the oregano is 2 years old.
Yeah.
I think. And this is thyme, and it's about 2 years old, and I think it's got little blooms on it, yep. And then this is another sage bush. It's a different kind of sage that we planted. We just planted this wise old sage. I liked it because the leaves are a little bigger than, I don't know what kind of sage this is, but actually this sage looks the best it's ever looked.
It does.
And it's full of blooms. It's so pretty.
If I'm not mistaken, I think we got a volunteer tomato back here. Right there it is.
There he is. Right here's one too.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. But there's another one on this side.
Is it?
Yeah, it don't look that great.
I can't remember which one we had planted over here. It was an eating tomato.
Yeah, I don't remember either. We got stuff comes up everywhere on its own.
Well, we'll just leave those though. Like if they want to grow right there, that ain't hurting nothing, is it?
They just leave them alone. Our watermelons, I think they went through some transplant shock because it took them a little bit, but they're finally starting to put on some new growth. Once again, they look a little beat up, but it's because of the hailstorm. Now the cantaloupe have handled it fine. They are the same situation though. The bigger leaves have holes in them.
But you said that won't bother them.
It shouldn't bother them. They're squash. Look at these, how they done. See the holes in that? That's all from the hail right there. Now our squash are a little bit yellow looking. As you heard us say when we planted these, we typically don't do transplants for squash. Normally we put the seed in the ground, let it come up. These come up on their own. I wanted to save them because we were expecting a frost. So I potted them up, put them in the greenhouse, and they got too big before we ever planted them. And ever since we've put them in the ground, I don't know if it was some major transplant shock they had going on or what, but they really just haven't performed like I would expect them to. They act like they're stressed because
Yeah, they hadn't been very impressive. We were out here the other evening picking blooms off of them. Not the male blooms, but we were picking the ones that make the squash.
yeah,
Female
blooms.
Yeah, we were picking those off. We left the male blooms, but they were trying to make little squashes, and we came through and picked them off because when they're little like this, they're not ready to do that. They need to put all their energy into growing right now.
And I fertilized them and everything trying to get that yellow color out of them, and it seems like it just ain't working. So I'm going to leave them just to see what they do. If I was pressed for room and needed more room, I'd probably pull them out and throw something else in. But since we don't exactly need the room, I'm going to leave them to see what they do. Now here are some zucchini that we planted from seed. And of course, the big leaves got beat up by the hail, but well, even that one's got a funny look to it. I hadn't noticed that. That wasn't looking like that. But that one looks pretty. Just got a big old rip in it. Now our tomatoes, on the other hand, look great. I am super proud of these tomatoes right now. But look at how they've grown. Look at those out there in the middle. They're at least a foot and a half tall already. Look at that. And it's just as stocky. Like that's a stout plant right there.
Was that one of the volunteer plants?
Yes, this is one of the San Marzanos there. I can tell by the way it's shaped and the way it looks. Well, before we get out of tomatoes here, I want to mention these. I don't know what's going on with these. These are some more of the volunteers. I thought when I seen them coming up because of the shape of the leaf, they were brandywines. So I dug them up, and then here they are. Well, the older they get, the more they don't look like a brandywine. This is what a brandywine should look like. These are some brandywines we started from seed. And you can see how that one looks versus this one. This one's like super bushy, and the leaves are just a little bit different shape. And the blooms, they got these little bitty blooms on them. And to me, the way they're blooming and the way they're bushing makes me think that there's a possibility that a spoon tomato and our brandywines got crossed with each other. I'm really curious to see what these end up producing. And they're definitely not full bred sweet spoon tomatoes, but they've got to be like a cross that happened. I mean, I don't know. I'm really curious to see what happens with that.
If you don't know or you hadn't heard us talk about spoon tomatoes before, they were gifted to us a few years ago, some plant starts. And they're these little tomatoes that are the size of your pinky nail or maybe a hair smaller. They are excellent snacks, but they put off like thousands of little tiny tomatoes, like so tiny. And there's only so many little tiny tomatoes that one person can eat, and they reseed themselves like crazy. Like they're one of them kind of things, once you plant them one time, you have them forever.
They're like a weed.
Ain't that what the woman told us that gave them to us?
Yeah, she said you plant one, you'll never have to plant them again.
We got that one patch down there next to the cows where that little compost pile is.
Yeah, it's thousands of them.
Thick as hair on a dog's back.
Thousands
of tomato plants.
Yeah. Then there's our row of black-eyed peas. They're just starting to bust through the ground. And what's coming up's looking good.
About all of them's come up, ain't they?
It's looking like it.
It's hard to see in the camera, but
Now, the green beans that are around these teepees are just starting to bust the ground in some spots. Like right there's one. See him there? It's just now starting.
and these teepees will be trellises for our pole beans. We're planting Kentucky Blue Wonders, which are a pole bean. So our hope is, which we used these last year for black-eyed peas, that they will climb up it and be a beautiful little teepee of green beans.
The only thing you have to watch out for with these teepees, and we learned the hard way, is you really need to have them pushed in the ground really good and anchored somewhat, because once the beans get all the way up here, it creates like a big sail in the wind, and if you get some really strong storms or something, it could potentially blow them over. So just keep that in mind if you decide to do something like this, that once you get to that point, they kind of need to be anchored to the ground so they can't blow over. And now I haven't seen the first cucumber coming up yet. And every one of them seeds were like 5 years old, so they may not.
I think we give it a couple more days, and if we don't see them, then we'll just plant them again.
Yeah, they ain't had time.
Because every hardware store around here has American pickling cucumbers. So.
That's right. Ain't no big deal if they don't come up. I've about eat all these strawberries toting them around.
Are they good?
They are good. You want one?
No, I'm good.
Well, there's that garden. This garden's getting started. It ain't quite hopping and popping yet.
And it's not, we're not done with it. There's still some things that we want to plant in here, so it ain't quite full yet. We ain't finished yet.
Yeah, by midsummer, this garden will look like a jungle. Probably be a mess. Her flowers are beautiful.
Yeah, these blue flowers, I don't know how well the camera picks it up, but they're so blue that they almost glow. I hear somebody. Jack, what are you doing?
They can probably hear me chomping on these strawberries.
Probably. But yeah, her flowers are so pretty. And some of them have come back from last year, like these poppies here. And these little orange flowers, and all this right here came back from last year.
I love these poppies.
I know, they're pretty, ain't they?
And there's the ones we planted the other day. They've just now started busting through. I ain't looked at this cherry tree lately, but it's
full
got
of cherries.
Well, it was, but it ain't no more.
Where'd they go?
They're gone.
Nuh-uh.
Look, there's one, there's one.
It had a bunch of cherries on it here the other day.
It probably dropped them off because it's too little to have a whole bunch. So.
Well, last year it had like 5.
Well,
there's some more.
This year you're probably gonna have about 10. Well, we'll mosey over to the raised beds and show y'all what all's going on over there.
Well, while we're on our way, you know we have our bank here full of irises and all these things that Andy has planted through the years. Look what we picked up the other day. I'd never seen one this color.
Yeah, this thing is absolutely gorgeous. Ain't that the prettiest?
We took us a trip up to Banner Elk. They've got a nice plant store up there, and they had those. I don't remember what the name of it is, do you?
The plant store?
Mountaineer
Nursery or something like that?
Yeah, they were...
it's right in the heart of Banner Elk.
They were really badly affected by the hurricane, and we were glad to go up there and give them some business. So if you live up that way, go check them out. He had some cool stuff though, didn't he?
He really did. And some of these peppers, these 2 peppers right here actually came from up there as well. The shishito. But you can see what the hailstorm did to them. Because it come right after I planted those peppers.
And this year we did it a little different. Usually when we plant them in the raised beds, we plant like 2 rows across there. And through trial and error, we have figured out that it gets to be too much of a jungle. Like it's really, really hard to pick them when they get like that. So this year we just did 1 row.
Look at what pods of peas. Those are going to be some...
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
There'll be a pile of them in there.
Yeah, there's several peas in that 1 pod. Jack, get on.
People want to know how we keep the cats out of the raised beds. There you go.
Do that right there.
Andy just showed you.
Throw them out. They only try to get in them when you're down here fooling with them. The darn cat's constantly wanting attention.
Now, something else we learned about these green peas, we put them on our green bean trellises, which green beans have never had issues just absolutely taking them over. Peas don't like to climb things that are not directly in their path.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've actually had to take string and tie those peas up that way so they'll try to grow up that trellis.
Yeah.
It's actually been a little bit aggravating, but...
Because we've growed them up that fence out there at the garden, and they do fine, that straight up and down fence. But yeah, with that little bit of curve in it, they don't care much for it.
Well, I like the way that Danny and Wanda had theirs at Pecan Grove. They had their peas planted in a row, and then directly above where the peas were was their cattle panels for them to grow up. So there's no way that pea could go this way or that way because it's straight above.
Right.
Like it's not even over to the side. It was straight above their peas. And if we ever plant them back in like the ground or the garden or whatever, that's how ours will be done too.
Boy, it did do a number on them, didn't it?
The onions look terrible. Look at this. I mean, it flat beat them things up. Now, I don't know. I don't know. They probably ain't gonna come out of it. And our garlic was the same way. Our garlic looked a lot better, and ever since that hailstorm, which it don't look that beat up, other than some broken leaves, but all of this was standing straight up. I just seen those. We need to start cutting our
Oh, we're getting some
out of there.
scapes now?
Yeah.
That means they'll be ready to pick here before long. The ones that are shooting.
I'm kind of ready for that because I'm ready to get them out of there.
That's the thing with garlic. You plant it in October, and then it feels like it's forever before you get to harvest it.
I don't know what variety this was. I can't remember. We'd have to go back and look on the video. But in case you don't know, you're supposed to break those scapes out of there, and I think it helps produce a bigger bulb.
Megan likes to eat them, and Andy's throwing them on the ground.
Oh, you do? Well, you got plenty more to pull out. And then this right here
You eat them too, you just don't know it.
I know I do. They're in food, ain't they? Yeah. You put them in stuff or something.
Yeah.
So this, I guess, has turned into an experiment because I tried my best to keep the clover from taking this bed over. And we planted them. Y'all saw when we planted it. Maggie planted a lot of them, and they all just ended up getting way too close together. So the onions themselves were way thicker than they should have been. Well, because of that, it was almost impossible to get in here and keep it cultivated to keep the clover out of it. And I finally just give up on it. I was like, you know what? That one day, I think we showed it in a video before, there was a couple comments saying, leave the clover alone, the clover's good. And yeah, clover's a nitrogen fixer and all that. But I can't wait to see what these onions turn out to be because...
The clover is also competition.
Exactly. The clover is also competition. And it's a mess, in my opinion. I don't like looking at it, so I don't look at it.
But these onions actually look better than those onions.
They do.
But it's a different kind of onions, too.
Yeah, I can't remember what color these were. I
What?
think these were the yellow ones.
Oh.
Or the white ones.
I
No,
just-
they weren't red.
I was going to say, yeah, I know they went in the red ones.
But look at how the hail just flat beat them up. I mean, I feel sorry for it. Look at that. Down here at the end of this row of raised beds, we have like a little mulch bed. And so the other day when I was planting peppers, I had 3 of our store-bought peppers left over that I didn't really have nowhere else to plant. So I decided to make this a little bit of a pepper bed. I dug out some holes, put in some of our compost, and kind of mixed all that in with the soil that was already there and planted them there. So we'll see how well they do. We got a golden delicious apple, no, I'm sorry, a yellow delicious apple tree. That's only just a couple of years old. Then on this side, we have a pear tree. But in this bed right here as well, we've got some massive comfrey growing. Purple coneflower. We've got dill plants that have come up everywhere.
And those come up by themselves.
Yeah. And a couple of sunflowers there that come up by themselves. And then I also stuck in 2 extra tomato plants that we had. These also come from the plant store in Banner Elk. These were fantastic variety tomatoes, which I had never heard of. And so they've just been planted as well. And this is the other bed of garlic. I think all of this is German white, ain't
Yeah,
it?
this is what we usually plant.
There's even a tomato.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
that's not a tomato.
they're shooting up scapes, too.
Are they?
Starting
They
to.
sure are. I haven't seen hail any since we've lived here.
No, I don't think so.
So that's a kind of a rare occurrence for us. This is another one of those volunteer peach trees. It's got one peach right there's one, and right here's one.
Oh yeah, I guess we'll see.
Yeah. It's only 2 years old, ain't it?
I think so. It's
Then
already that big.
The mint's made of. It's a jungle out here.
Plant mint in a pot, which I said that, in one of the other videos, and somebody said their friend did plant it in a pot and it still jumped out. And then more peas and a potato, look.
Yeah, I seen that the other day. I was like, well, he's made it this far, I'm just gonna leave him. And of course the peppers that y'all saw us plant the other day.
Yep, there's more peppers. And we have a nice green bean crop over here. Shall we show them that?
I know, this is crazy. This is all stuff that come up from the vines that were here last year.
And they should be true Kentucky wonders. There's no reason they wouldn't be.
Yep, there's nothing else here for them to pollinate with.
No. And Andy's done weeded them down one time and they came back with a vengeance, so we're just going to...
I decided if they want to grow that bad, let's just let them grow and see what they do.
Yeah.
The blackberry vine here's took over everything in this bed.
Which that was the plan, because this was our first raised bed and we did not build it the way we should have.
Well...
And more deal.
More deal come up on its own. But the peas that are in here, actually, they look
really good.
They look really good. Look at those pods there.
Yep.
I can't wait to have some fresh peas.
I know.
Now, right here's something that I'm blown away is how fast they've grew. Look at those beets.
Yeah. They're huge.
And they're way too thick. Our potato slips are doing fair. Our purple ones have come up way ahead of the red ones here.
Do we have any red ones up yet?
I found... I don't even see it now. But right in here where you can see I've scratched the dirt, I found right there. See them?
Oh, they're starting.
They're starting.
Okay.
So it won't be about a week. We'll start seeing stuff come up everywhere.
Well, once they start like that, because that's like these. Once they started, all of a sudden we had all these.
Yeah, they come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like one day you didn't have none, the next day they were everywhere.
They are pretty plants though.
And the fencing there is over them because the cats decided that was going to make a good litter box, and I wasn't having that. Yeah, these beets are just a little bit on the thick side.
Yeah.
But I still think they're going to make some beets, though.
Think so?
Yeah, that one right there's got one on the bottom of it. About the size of a golf ball.
Huh.
And the carrots, the hail beat the carrots all to pieces the other day. And that's why they're all laid over. Of course, they're way too thick, too. They shouldn't be that thick.
But you've already thinned them out one time, hadn't you?
I have, and they're still too thick. His tomatoes down there have a really dark green color. They look great.
That's what he put his homemade fertilizer on too, and I wonder if that don't have something to do with it.
It could. It might, sure enough.
He put him some marigolds in here.
His corn is popping up. I'm not even sure he knows that yet. That's just popped up today. Yesterday, that corn wasn't there, and it grew this tall today. And then his green beans.
Oh, they're coming up really
Yeah,
good.
they look great.
Those are Kentucky wonders that he planted. The same thing that's the volunteer plants over there. Oh, there's a little piece of corn coming up everywhere.
They're everywhere, yeah.
There's a cucumber coming up right there.
Now, I don't see no cucumbers out here yet. Right
there's
one.
a cucumber.
I really think he's going to have it going on here before long. One thing's for sure, he ain't got to worry about no animal getting in there, does he?
No.
All right. We're getting ready to go through the orchard here. We'll just make a quick trip through it. But this peach tree is completely loaded down, way too heavy again this year. So I didn't even tell you this, Megan. I come out here, might have actually been last night, and I cut the very tips of the branches off. And just taking that little, which look at how many peaches was on that one limb.
Yep.
Just taking off those lifted these limbs up so much. So I hope that really helps us from having some breakage. And
Last year we put boards and everything else under it.
And I'm afraid we're going to have to do that again this year.
Yeah.
But that seems like it helped out. Like this limb right here was down to here. And when I cut that piece off, like it sprung up. Ain't they pretty?
Mm-hmm.
I love peaches.
I do too.
This peach tree right here's got several on it this year too.
Well, it did last year. This one just, they ripened a whole lot later than that other one.
And they were a lot smaller peach, weren't they?
Yeah.
Pear tree over there's got one cluster of pears right there and one cluster up top.
Also, I'll get me a few to eat on then.
Yeah,
anyway.
It's a whole cluster right there in one spot.
Well, I canned a bunch last year,
Look up in there some too. I hadn't seen those. There's several pairs on it,
Okay.
right up through the middle.
Now, ain't that amazing? It didn't have but like one bloom on it.
I know. I don't know where them pears come from because it
Because
really
it didn't
wasn't
even
blooming.
hardly bloom, yeah.
So I got a little bit of concern about our apples. I come down here yesterday evening and noticed, which it's not on here now because I pruned every bit of it out, but I noticed that a lot of the tips and even some whole branches were dying back, kind of like a fire blight. We've lost at least 5 trees down here that just suddenly die. Out of nowhere, they just die. And so I'm concerned that we might have some type of fire blight or something going on here. And
Well, you know, somebody told us last year that it spread through pear trees.
well, I bought some stuff that's supposed to take care of fire blight. Like, I was trying to go somewhat organic, but this stuff ain't organic but I want to wipe it out. And so I can't even remember the name of it now, but it is for fire blight. I'm not 100% sure that's what's wrong with our trees, but everything that I've looked up online and from just people telling me stuff, it sounds like we got fire blight issues. And if that's the case, it could potentially wipe out every single tree in this orchard as far as the apples go. I did order some stuff to treat these things with because, I mean, we've waited this long to have apples, and then slowly we just keep losing apple trees. And y'all, I want to make sure I take care of it. I want to get rid of this problem. We've tried to keep from spreading it. When we prune our trees, we clean pruners in between trees and stuff like that, and I don't know. But it's got me just a little bit concerned.
Right.
I sure would hate to lose them all. Been a long time coming on this one.
Yeah.
Look at where it washed this road.
Yeah, washed it pretty good.
I hadn't seen that. And then out here on what we call Berry Hill, everything is flourishing.
But look, it didn't really wash. Your little makeshift terraces,
They worked.
they served their purpose.
They did. If we'd have had that rain before we put these terraces in, there would have been a foot deep gully right through here. And there's no washing at all on this bank. So it's nice to see it worked. But this right here is what's really, like, we've got blueberries out here. I think we've got about 20 blueberries
And
on this hill.
most of the blueberries, like, I don't think the frost hurt them. For the most part, they're pretty loaded.
But y'all, look at this. Look at it. Look at this.
Yeah,
Holy
these
cow.
strawberries are showing out here this year.
Oh my goodness. That's perfect.
Yep.
Look at this right here. Look at that.
That's a nice strawberry.
And y'all, I will tell you, when these strawberries were blooming, the only thing that I done really different this year, I come out here, it was right about the time that I was fertilizing my hayland, and I had a bag of triple 14, and I just scattered it in amongst every single strawberry patch we got. And I don't know if that's what made the difference this year or not, or if the weather's just been perfect or what, but look at that. We ain't never had strawberries look like that. Usually that's the kind of strawberry you go to the local produce stand and buy. We ain't never had one in our own garden that looked like that.
That actually
right
grew that good, yeah. And
Golly.
my strawberry jam that they saw me make just the other day. What'd you think about
Come
that?
from right here. And had so much more flavor than what you've made in the past, even though what you've made in the past has been made with, well, I'm going to say they're homegrown strawberries, but they come from a local farmer who grows strawberries.
Well, I think it was that, and plus I didn't use sure gel, and so it cooked a lot longer.
Yeah.
So I don't know if those two things put together, but it is so tastes so strong like strawberry, like in a good way.
Very, very good. Probably the best strawberry jelly I've ever ate.
Oh, well, thank you. That's the nicest thing you said to me all day. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, let's go up here, because I do want to show the one thing out here that I'm not proud of, and it's all my fault because I run out of time. First, look at the
muscadines are loaded. So excited.
Eventually, we are going to build us a permanent type trellis system out here for this to, like an arch, for this to grow up on. And
Are we?
it's been in my plans ever since we started this, and I just ain't had time to do
I'm
it.
going to tell you, these muscadines like it out here, though, because we ain't never really even done nothing to them, have we?
No.
We planted them and said, well,
We let them grow, which muscadines grow native here.
That's true.
And so maybe that's got a lot to do with it.
Because I feel like them grapevines sometimes struggle, but these things, man.
Raspberries are loaded. Oh, that's a blackberry right there.
That's not a good blackberry either.
Yeah, that
I don't know why, but
not a good one at all.
raspberries are everywhere. Look, we're going to have raspberries for long.
See that? Look right here. Look at there.
And we knew that raspberries kind of multiplied, but we didn't realize that they multiplied as much as they do. Like, there's little raspberry plants coming up everywhere.
Well, you know what else multiplies?
I know what else multiplies. Blackberries.
Blackberries. Look at our blackberry jungle.
Which we knew that when we planted them.
Well, I messed up this year. There's actually strawberries planted along the ground right through there, and we can't get to them. We can see red berries in there. Like, they look great when you get down here looking.
But you can't get to them.
Do you see the strawberry plants? Now, I suppose if we wanted to dig through all that mess, we could get to them. But the thing is, I never got around to pruning these blackberries this year, and I did not realize that it was going to be this big of a jungle not doing that.
Yeah, but you know what? This is how they like to grow. They'll probably be the best they've ever been because this is...
Well, maybe they will,
This is how they like to grow. Well, I was reading...
How are we going to get in there and pick them?
I don't know. We'll find
We're going to
out.
have to get us a long arm to reach in there and pick every one of them.
We can use that apple thing your grandma's got.
You reckon?
No, they'd fall out of it.
Look in here, y'all. See? All those strawberries? They're all up through there just like that. So
Yeah.
this has turned into, instead of berry hill, it's now berry jungle.
But like I said, I mean, we were aware that they would do this, but...
Yeah, it ain't like we didn't think it was going to happen. It's just...
One of them things,
Yeah.
we didn't get around to it.
Yeah.
It's all right. You know what? You know the way I feel about it?
What?
It'll be what it'll be, and we can get off of it and take care of it next winter.
That's right. I mean, it's still producing berries.
Yeah.
I've done potted up. So I come through like a couple weeks ago and dug up a bunch of these shoots that are coming up. I've done potted up probably 20 blackberries, and you couldn't even tell I'd done anything. Look right here, though.
I know, Jacob was asking about them last night. He's like, are the blueberries, how much longer do you think it's going to be? Now, he won't eat no blueberries like from anywhere else. He will not eat them, but that young will sit out here and eat blueberries till he's sick.
That homegrown.
These, yeah. He loves them.
All of the jungle you see is all food producing stuff. It's
Yeah.
not like it's taken over by weeds.
No, this is all...
There's strawberries, muscadines, blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries all in this jungle right here.
And I'm going to tell you, those strawberries there and the strawberries in here are doing what we wanted them to do.
They were supposed to be a ground
The
cover.
ground cover to keep the weeds down.
Now, that being said, they don't make the biggest strawberries when they're this thick, but they still make strawberries.
I was going to say, I don't know, this year they've kind of
Well, let's see if I can find
shown
some.
out a little bit.
Right here. I mean, that you can't complain with that. But I think we'll pick a few of these strawberries while we're down here and go ahead and get them picked today. And then we'll take y'all up to the potato patch and give you a quick update on that. And that's probably going to be about it, ain't it?
I'd say so. But you know what? This is my favorite place out of our whole place. This and the creek are my two favorite places. And I like it because I love all the berries, which I'm a big fruit person anyway. I love all the fruit. And plus, when you're out here at the pigs, you got a nice view kind of over everything.
Let me get up there and show it. You can see most over everything here. But if I had to say, Berry Hill is the most productive for the least amount of work.
Yeah, and in a small spot. I mean, the main part of it right here, that ain't no big spot. Like, it is jam-packed full of stuff.
If y'all got anywhere to put it, I highly suggest you planting a Berry Hill. Key to it is keeping it mulched though, because weeds will take over a spot like this in a hurry. But look, it starts down here in the corner with blueberries and strawberries. All the blueberries, once they get big, this is probably going to be a jungle here too.
That's the plan, though.
But that's the plan. But all the way across, all the way out past Megan there, that's the oldest part of all of it. It started from the muscadines up. And then we decided to add this right here in like a year or two later.
Like you said, besides a little fertilizer and mulch, there ain't nothing else we've done to it.
Yeah, so let's pick a couple of these strawberries right here. I'm gonna go show off these blueberries down here, and I'm gonna come back up here and help you.
Okay.
Walked out here to the edge. These blueberries I did not realize were as loaded as they are. Look at that. So while we were picking strawberries, I noticed that a couple of our blueberry plants don't look that great. And you can see the veins in there, and the in between the veins is discolored. Right here's another one. This one's actually a lot worse. Still got plenty of blueberries on it, but just not looking that great. The rest of the blueberries look fine. All of those have a dark green color all down through there. We had this whole bunch right here about died last year because of the drought we had. This one especially, you see how really thin it is? It almost died last year. But still, it doesn't have the right coloring. So, I do know that means that's some type of nutrient deficiency. So if any of my blueberry experts out there watching this, tell me what I need to add to those blueberries to get rid of that. Golly. Holy cow, Megan. Look at that. That is insane. Then amongst all these strawberries, we've got some ever-bearing strawberries, and we've got the ones that just bear one time a year. I could not tell you. I think it was Chandler strawberries are the ones that bear one time a year that we have. And then the other strawberries we have, the ever-bearing ones, are quinauts. I believe that's how you say that word. This is crazy. So, show them what this food producing mess, what we just harvested out of it.
That's at least a gallon or a gallon and a half strawberries. Now, some of them we do pick a little not ripe, because if you don't, a lot of times the bugs will beat you to them. But.
Yep. And these berries have had nothing sprayed on them for insects. None of this stuff's had anything sprayed for insects or anything like that.
Yeah, just had that fertilizer.
Just that triple 14. Guess we'll go put these up in the house, and then we'll take a quick trip up the road and go see what the potatoes look like.
Yeah, because we ain't seen them since the storm.
I hadn't seen them since the storm, and we've had a couple of nice growing days since I put all that fertilizer by them here. Well, what was that, about a week ago now?
Yeah, a few days.
A few days ago. And so I'm expecting they look a lot better than the last time we seen them. All right, y'all, so you're getting the first look at them just like we are. It's the first time I've seen them since I fertilized that day.
That's a fine looking potato patch, ain't it?
You just got shot at. It's not bad looking.
That's our deer alarm, if don't nobody know and hadn't heard us talk about it.
Right there. And there's another one down there in that corner.
We learned about them from Danny and Wanda at Pecan Grove.
And this is the first time we've used them on a big patch like this.
Look yonder.
And they're working great. Oh, you found a bug.
A baby one.
First potato bug we've seen on them. That plant's got them all in there.
Not today, it don't.
That's still better than last time though. Last year we were picking the bugs off like as soon as they were emerging out of the ground.
I just seen 2 plants with them on it so far.
I'm liking the color. The color of these plants look a lot better than they did. They're a lot darker green. So hopefully that triple 14 is doing its job.
Hopefully so.
Well, you got one eat up? Oh, wow.
Mash them.
I am. Yeah, they eat that plant up. I hate it, but that means we may have to start treating these things.
But like you said, I mean, it still ain't been as bad as last year.
Not at all. They don't look bad though. But anyways, y'all, I hope you enjoyed the little walk around this evening or this morning.
Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you might have learned a little something. Until we see y'all on the next one.
Y'all have a good one.
Have a good one.